Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Colin Santi. I'm a program manager at Efficiency Vermont, and I manage our commercial lighting program. So thanks for being here and continuing to engage with us on our work on your lighting projects. As you may be familiar with, there's a lot of change going on this year with how we support and provide rebates to lighting programs. Most of this change is due to Act 120, a Vermont state law that prohibits the sale of 4-foot linear fluorescents. This law went live at the start of this year, and it impacted our smart light program, which was the point of sale rebate program. And after 15 years of successfully operating that, we had to end it. So the point of today's webinar is to let you know that we can still provide incentives or rebates for projects. And to do so, we need projects to meet screening criteria. So basically rules set forth by our regulators. The goal today is to go over the lighting audit tool, which is a tool that will help us determine if a project meets that criteria. So just because a project is submitted using this tool doesn't guarantee that it gets a rebate from us, but it does really reduce and minimize the back and forth and the time it takes to perform that analysis. So with that, I'll say thanks again, and I'll pass it to my colleague, Jill.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Colin. I am Jill O'Connor. I know probably many of you. I've been working in the lighting section of Efficiency Vermont for over 10 years. We have taken this tool. Some of you may remember it from the days of our Relight program or our lighting design programs. This is pretty much the same tool we used for there, only we are opening it up to allow for more folks to be able to utilize this. Again, this tool is going to help provide EVT the basic information on lighting projects that you are working on and provide us most of the information that we're going to need to evaluate whether or not the projects will make economic sense to move forward. What you may have recalled is that we talked about retrofit projects in the past where we are working with you're working with a client, we're working with you folks using the actual costs. So we will need actual fixture costs and the labor costs when you're submitting projects from going forward. We'll also need to know what the baseline equipment, the existing equipment in the space is. We're going to walk through all this. If the tools make sense for you to use on a project, especially larger projects with multiple rooms, this is a great way to provide it all right to us to help evaluate very quickly. If it's a single room, single area, we'll need a lot of the same information that's on this tool, but you could just write it out for us. Let me move forward on my page. So this is basically what we're going to go over. What the tool is, who the basic users of the tool are, and then the big things is the data entry and reviewing the data. So who can use our tool? Anybody in the EAN. This tool is going, contractors, lighting suppliers, you all can work together to utilize this tool to the best advantage. The tool is going to help with our commercial retrofit lighting projects, as I noted. Any new construction or major gut rehab projects where they're working on lighting and HVAC and other items, you're still going to need to use the lighting power density or LPD tool. So this is strictly for a lighting project that's coming in. You're just working on improving the lights in the area. This provides a detailed information about the project, who's involved on the customer side, what the existing equipment is, what the proposed equipment is going to be, what you're going to have for any occupancy sensors if you're installing those. And it does help provide a detailed either bidding list or just a supply list if the customer wants that. And again, the biggest part is it is a quick and easy way to help EVT staff review these projects a little faster for you and help determine incentives. As Colin noted, these projects actually, submitting this does not guarantee we're going to see a incentive from it. We still need to run the numbers with the costs and everything associated with projects. And I'm going to actually, as Colin noted in the chat, we're going to hold questions until the end. You can put them in the chat window. Colin will be reviewing that. We'll answer some questions as we go along, if it's a quick and easy one, or we can discuss them all at the very end. So we'll be around for both. Again, the primary users of the tool, lighting suppliers, the lighting contractors, professionals, general contractors, pretty much anybody. However, all users must sign a software licensing agreement regarding the tool, and attend or watch a training on the tool, how to use it. That's exactly what you folks are doing right now. So once you're done, we'll be able to reach out to Colin and he'll be able to provide you with the software licensing agreement for your signature, and then we can send you the tool. We'll be keeping a list of who is using the tool, so we can also, if we have updates, we'll be able to send them out. If you do find something that's not working right in the tool, please reach out to us and let us know so that we can add that on and make updates as needed. Again, to get the tool, you will want to email Colin Santee and then review and sign the software or licensing agreement. And for submitting projects, once you've had the tool, you've used it on some projects, you're ready to send it in, you can do so in one of two ways. If this is a new project that you have not talked to anybody at Efficiency Vermont about, you can submit it just like any other new project to info@efficiencyvermont.com. You would send the tool, how to get a hold of the customer, and they will set it up with an energy consultant. If you're already working with someone at Efficiency Vermont on a project and have already talked with us a little bit about it, and we decide this is the best way to move forward with it, obviously you would just send this tool directly to whichever engineering consultant you're working with. So for the data entry, we know this is the big part that we all want to double check on. What type of information is going to be needed? We've got specific tabs that you will have to fill out. There's 4 tabs total. The first tab is going to be the basic building information, who's involved with it, etc. The second tab is the one that you're going to have all the data actually entered on. It is one big long spreadsheet. You can tab between the columns. That's going to include the baseline equipment, proposed equipment, controls, costs, everything else. The vast majority of this is going to be pull down menus. You will be able to cut and paste a little bit in there, not tons. And then you would be able to send the analysis once you've saved it, send it right to us. So the 4 basic tabs we have is, again, the general project information, the audit. We also have a lighting summary that's going to provide the high level of energy savings, and an equipment list, which you can actually hand out to your customers again. I'm going to walk through each one of these sections right now, and then if we have questions, we can move forward with those. As I said, do we have any major questions right now, Colin, we should answer?
One popped in from Chris asking how we define a retrofit project from a major reconstruction. And I think that anything with existing equipment is considered a retrofit to us. And then new construction would use the LPD, lighting power density tool, separate from this tool. And that's when there's no existing equipment. So
yeah. Or if you're going in, you're touching 2 or more, like you're doing both HVAC upgrades and lighting upgrades. A lot of times that'll fall into the gut rehab, which requires an LPD. If you're going in and it's a big major change of space, such as, you had a former warehouse building, now it's becoming office space, those would be a new lighting power density, or new LPD would be needed on those. So that's kind of, if you have questions, you're working on a project, you're not quite sure where it falls, definitely reach out to us and ask, but that's kind of some really good guidelines that if you're touching two or more, major components of a building, you're redoing a whole floor in a building, and again, you're reconfiguring how the AC unit's going in, and you're redoing how the lights are. That would be a major gut rehab / new construction. So I'm going to move forward then with the tools. So this is the first tab on the Excel sheet. And I do have an Excel sheet I'll bring right up and can show everyone in real time. This, like I said, is the basic project information tab, the first tab you're going to want to fill out. We asked for the project, the company name, the address of it, who the main customer contact there is. So who should we reach out to and discuss any, logistical information questions we have about the site. We ask that you put you're the lighting auditor, so your name, your company, so we make sure that we have it linked back into our system altogether. And then some basic office information. Is it an office? Is it a medical building? Is it a warehouse? How many square feet are you working on? So again, this is the square foot that the section you're working on. You may be in a 100,000 square foot building, but you're only doing one floor. That's 25,000 square feet. You would just list in the 25,000 square feet. The heating type, who their electric utility is, and if they know their electric rate, please pop it in. If they don't, we will calculate it on our end, or reach out to the customer and get it. We asked that you put in the rough business operating hours, how many hours a day, how many days a week, weeks per year, if they're definitely closed, 2 or 3 days, weeks a year, or if they're just closed random holidays. That's how I have it set up right here, right now, 9 hours a day, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year, but they're closed for 10 holidays. That will calculate an average annual hours. We also have a section to put, whoops, let me go back, a section to put in general comments. So for example, if you're just working on the lighting portion and you're filling this out and there's going to be a separate quote from another contractor for the labor to install as well, just let us know on that comment that labor's not included. We know we'll have to reach out to the customer and have them send us the labor quote. Or, if you were going to be supplying it, you could note that in. If it's just part of a building, you could enter any sort of comments in like that. So the second tab has a lot more information in it, and I'm going to go through each one of these sections following this. So the 5 main sections is the room information, the existing equipment information, our proposed equipment, proposed controls, and then the installation costs. So for the room information, you could put in the room name. You would select whether it's an interior or exterior space. If you want to add in any comments such as, this has much more, way too much light in it and we need to reduce the light levels. That's a great thing for us to know. Or the vice versa, this, only has one fixture in it and it really, it's way underlit. We need to really increase the lights. We definitely want to know that because that will help us evaluate this a little bit better. If there's air conditioning or not. And then if it's a space such as like a janitor's closet, or maybe they've got, one room that they know runs longer or, less during the year, you could say this room here runs for 12 hours a day, 52 weeks a year, all year long. And that would calculate the annual hours separately, or a lot of times with janitor rooms, we kind of assume it's about 750 hours a year. You could just type that in under annual hours. So you can tweak those run hours to be reflected of the actual space use. And we definitely encourage you to do that. The more accurate information we have, the better we can review the projects. The next tab that we're going to go over is the existing equipment. Fairly self-explanatory. How many of the new portion of those lights are in that space, what type of technology, and then the description, you would pick on the technology. Is it an incandescent light bulb? Is it a T8? Is it a high performance T8? Is it a T12, T5, existing LED? In the description, you would pull down, this is a 2-lamp T8, and all those are pull downs. It'll automatically add in the wattage, and this is an estimated wattage that we use on rough averages. So they take into account a variety of different types of ballasts, a variety of different types of lamps from different manufacturers, and we've kind of averaged out what the average run or average wattage is on those. And then it will have the comments. Again, if you have any comments, this is really a 4-lamp fixture, but they've removed one of the ballasts and only 2 lamps ever run. You could add, little comments like that, maybe explaining why you're doing something in there. You don't have to put in the comments. That's totally, as it says, it's totally optional. But sometimes if there's something really unique about it, you could definitely add a note in. Proposed equipment. So you're on their action. We have new fixtures. We have new retrofit kits. We have whether it's a lamp. If there's no change, if you're adding only a control to the existing, there's a few different actions. You would select which one you want, how many of the new fixtures are in there, what technology it is. Is it a interior LED interior? Is it an LED retrofit kit, an LED lamp? It would go into the description of, is this a linear or troffer fixture? Is this for example, other covers, downlights, track lights, vanity lighting. You would type in the wattage that is noted either on the cut sheet or from DLC. We are still reviewing the model numbers against the Design Light Consortium and the EVT qualified products list. So we want to make sure, again, these are qualified products. You can list that wattage in there. And then in the comments, you can add in the make and model number for those. Or if you have a lighting schedule, you could add in, this is light A, this is light F1, whatever. Then we can reconcile to the cut sheets that you provide on those. The next section we have is for lighting controls. Some we realize will not have any controls. As you can see on this first line, I have absolutely no controls entered. That's fine. We realize not every space needs controls, or there may be existing controls. The following line, you can pick whether or not there's going to be high-end trim. So whether you're going to be reducing those lights from the standard output, enter in your high-end trim, whether it's, it's going to be dimmed down 10%, 50%, whatever it's going to be. That will automatically calculate the new maximum wattage. Then if there's also going to be a control, whether it's an integrated control, a fixture mount, a totally separate fixture mounted control, wall sensor, so forth and so on, you would do that pull down. Whether you want to use the default savings. Our defaults are always 24%. That's fairly industry average across all building types, offices, warehouses, stairways, etc. If you know more information and the area is going to be used more or less, select default. You can type in, it's going to be, activated 50% of the time. It's going to be, off 75% of the time. It's only going to be off 10% of the time. You can enter that in there. How many sensors in this space and how many sensors or how many fixtures are going to be controlled by sensors. So you may have 3 sensors going into a space and 14 fixtures that are going to be controlled by those 3 sensors. And there may be other lights in there that aren't going to be on sensors. That's okay. We just need to know how many are going to be controlled. Or in this example, I have 1 sensor controlling 4 fixtures that are in that example restroom. And the last tab on that, or section on the project audit tab, is for costs. And your per fixture cost can either be literally just the fixture cost or fixture and estimated labor. That's up to you how you want to enter it. If your controls are separate, so it's a fixture mounted occupancy sensor you're installing, you would add that cost in. If it's a ceiling or a wall mounted sensor, you would add that cost in. If it's an integrated to the fixture, that's obviously already built into the per fixture cost. No need to count it out. It'll tally up exactly what the total cost would be and put it into the comment. And then again, any comments you wanted to add in. So that is the data input. That's what we're asking you folks to enter in. The next two tabs I'm going to be show you are for your reference. You can show them to your customers. You don't have to show them to your customers. Fully up to you. And again, if you want to show this spreadsheet to your customers, you're more than welcome to. If you don't, that's okay as well. The lighting audit summary tab shows the estimated current use, estimated proposed use, and then what your savings should approximately see. Again, these are very rough estimates. This does not take in a lot of heating, cooling, additional savings that may or may not happen. We do look at that on our side, so that is why sometimes our savings are different than what may be calculated here. A lot of times what you may calculate on your own. We do take in all of that additional, you're putting in a lower use, lower wattage light fixture that doesn't produce as much heat. There's going to be some cooling savings on that in a building, especially with AC. It also may increase the heating needs if the space, needs that. It also lists out some estimated lighting costs, the equipment costs, the controls costs. You can type in estimated commissioning costs if there is additional commissioning costs, and then it gives you a total and a rough estimated payback before any incentives are applied. And again, these numbers are not from a real project. I totally made them all up. So for the next tab, the final tab we have is the equipment list. This lists all the locations that you've entered in, whether it is going to be a new fixture, new retrofit kit, new lamps, whatever, how many, if it's indoors or outdoors, the rough description, and then anything from the comments. So again, if you entered in model numbers, you want your customer to see the model numbers, that's all entered in here. You don't want them to have that, it's going out for bid. You can't, you don't want to have those listed. You can always delete these out. It lists the control type, any comments, sensor quantity, and then the estimated installed cost or estimated cost from the tool. Again, you can use this and provide it to your customers and letting them know this is kind of what we're thinking, or you don't have to. We did design this when we were doing the Relight program so that it did provide a nice, quick, easy bid list if customers needed to go out to get multiple bids on something. So that is the basic of the tool and the information that it's going to be in there. Again, before you submit, you're going to want to confirm the existing equipment, that the quantities are accurate, your equipment that you selected is accurate, your proposed equipment, you get the correct categories, you've entered in the wattages for them. If there's a lumen choice, like for exterior lights, we're still looking at lumen bins, is it falling into the correct area? Are these DLC or EVT qualified products list confirmed? Were their costs entered? And then if there's any other comments, let us know. And you can do it in an email as well. No, the labor is not included, or yes, this includes labor. So that is the rough run through of the new tool. Does anyone have any questions? And then I can run through the actual Excel sheet.
I haven't seen any additional questions in the chat yet. So I think that means you're doing great. The only thing I'd like to add, something you covered already, to request access to this tool, please email me, Colin. I'll put my email address in the chat. And then from that, I will send you a DocuSign envelope for our software license agreement. It's just type your name and click sign on it. And then we will send you the version of the tool. So, yeah.
Yep. And again, if we make any updates during the year, we would send those to you throughout the year. And Colin, do we need to renew that a licensing agreement every year?
Nope. And you only need to sign it once per user, not per project. So you'd be able to sign it once to get access to the tool and then submit the tool to us for variety or multiple lighting projects that you're working on. It's just a
And
one-time agreement.
excellent. And so the only thing we would ask is if you decide you never want to do this, you're retiring, you're moving away to Bora Bora, let us know and we can just take you off the list so we're not emailing you the tool for no reason. So for the live version, again, this is the tool in real life. As you can see, we typed in all the information. Offices, we've got a wide variety, fire stations, gyms, hospitals, hotel, motel, movie theaters, all the different types of buildings. This information is based on the same pull-ins from the code requirements from the new the lighting power densities and everything else. So that a lot of the stuff will look fairly familiar from that. The heating types, is it electric resistant, heat pumps, oil, propane, natural gas? Just, again, a pull down, just pick and select. Same with the electric company. And then you would type in the electric rate, the days per year, automatically calculates. If you do any changes in here, so this is only open 45 days per year, it drops it way down. If you try to type in too much, it will come up and say you have an error. So that is nice. And then once you've filled out this section, hop into the project audit. Again, you can just type in your name and your room name, and then you can hit the tab button to move over interior, exterior, comments, no AC. I know this is 4380 because it's an outside light. I have one of them. It's a metal halide and it's a 150 watt normal start. And we're going to put in a retrofit kit. We're putting in just one. So it automatically comes up as retrofit kit. And it's exterior, so I can, oh, I just realized those exterior retrofit kits did not pop in. Here's a note of something that we will have to add in. So I'm going to add in a new fixture, an exterior LED, and it's going to be a 5,000 lumen fixture at 20 watts. Random name, there's no high-end trim, there's no additional controls, and it costs $150. And then I can go back to the beginning and I've been using it clicking with my mouse. So I can do inside and pull down interior. This one has air conditioning. There's 10 of them. They're T8s. It is, and should be able to hit the number 2 because it's a 2 lamp. So now I can select, is it a 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot? Does it have a high ballast factor? Is it a 8 foot fixture? what type of lamp is this? I'm going to stick with the standard old 4-foot fixture. We're putting in a new fixture. And there's going to be, how many did I say? 10 of them. New interior. It's going to have dual occupancy daylighting. It's a troffer fixture, so it has integrated dual occupancy sensors. It's 25 watts. It's product V. And there's going to be high-end trim of 10%, 90% light with a wall switch. We're just going to use the default 24%. There's one sensor, but it only controls 5 fixtures. And this is going to cost me $600. Again, I'm making up numbers totally off the top of my head, as you can tell. And you can see it's already tattling up what each fixture costs. So back to the beginning, I can enter my next, and if I have, say, 2 fixtures in a room, I would also just go right back, do exactly the same room number, and I could label this if I want inside fixture 1 and inside fixture 2. So say they have 5 downlights. They're just incandescent light bulbs right now, 60 watters. We're going to put in a new retrofit kit in the 5 of them. And then I would go through, try to find which retrofit kit is. And this doesn't have the one for downlights. I'm sorry about that. All the things we thought we had done and grabbed. So other indoor downlight. This uses 10 watts. Downlight. And there's no controls on this. And then that back to the beginning. So is there any questions or anything else people want to see on these?
I haven't seen anything pop up in the chat yet. I am wondering, Alex, maybe if you're still around, if anybody would like to come off of mute and ask a question, I would be available.
Yep.
Maybe we can make that happen too.
We can make that happen.
Okay.
Excellent.
So feel free, if you would like, you can raise your hand or put something in the chat, and I can allow you guys to unmute, and we can go over your questions that way too.
Yep.
Great.
And just to give a little bit of another view, again, here's what the lighting in real time, what the lighting summary looks like, what the costs look like. This one's 21.8 years to pay back with what the energy rate is, how much savings there is. Probably not going to meet our screening criteria. And that would obviously be due to the $600 LED fixtures. But that will kind of give you a rough idea, does this look reasonable? And again, the equipment list will generate. It might take a minute or two to pop up, but it's going to be right here. If you want to go in again, and it's, having to go out for a bid, you can go in and, you can't change these anymore. Save this as a PDF. You could, block those out, and go forward.
I'm not seeing anyone raising their hands at the moment or any other questions. Oh, actually, take that back. There is one. Sorry, John. I'll allow you to unmute right now. Okay, you should be all set to unmute, John.
Okay, ask your question. Oh, is this including Burlington BED electric too?
I think
Go ahead, Jill.
I think BED is doing all LPDs. You could reach out and ask them if they would still accept this tool or not.
I
Yep.
see.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would want to confirm that before giving a definite answer. Let's definitely reach out to BED. I do know that they are participating in our prescriptive downstream form that I also included in the email update or invite for this training today. So any prescriptive rebates, Burlington Electric will be participating with and honoring those as well. As far as custom lighting rebates and submitting the tool to Burlington Electric, I think we should double check with them before signing them up for something they may not participate in.
Thank you.
Yep.
And if anybody comes up with questions later or as you're using it, please feel free to reach out and let us know. Again, similar things like you just saw, we've tried to catch everything that we could. There were a few that we missed. So, we'll get those added in and, always willing to make updates, willing to hear feedback. There is some things we will not be able to change on the tools, unfortunately. But, we're definitely want to hear if you're running into errors. There was one other portion I did want to mention. Sometimes if you're going through and you are working and you're really improving the light levels in a space, so you need to dramatically increase, decrease, whatever, you can click this button here, this light levels input, and that will bring out more information. You will be able to enter in what the existing or what the proposed light level should be, or excuse me, what the existing light level is, what the proposed should be based on the IESNA recommendations for the space. So, you're in a warehouse and it's currently coming in at, making up numbers, 3-foot candles. And it's fine goods, so it needs to be up, I think, around 50. That would be a great example of, yeah, we're increasing the light level throughout this space. Here is why. You could enter that in, enter comments, the space type you can enter in, and then the square foot for that area, and that would actually show up on, let us know that, yeah, this is meeting the watts per square foot or whatever. But you do not have to use this light level input at all if you don't want to. That's totally up to you folks. I know historically that didn't get filled out a lot, which is why we let it be optional this time.
Well, thank you, Jill and Colin. This is greatly appreciated. Currently, I'm not seeing anyone else raising their hands. I'm not seeing anything else in the chat. Give it a little bit if you'd like. Otherwise, wrap up in a little while. We'll also have a recording of this. This is being recorded, so in a couple weeks, hopefully we'll have this posted to our website. So you can always go back and watch this again if you'd like.
Yep, and I'll speak for both of us here. Jill and I are also happy to communicate with any of you who have any questions that may come up on projects that you're utilizing this tool for, or if there's questions even before you start working on with this tool. We're here and always happy to chat about lighting.
Yep. And again, if you have questions of whether this tool would be good, is this a gut rehab project or a retrofit project, feel free to reach out to us and we can discuss it with you folks and figure out which area would be the best to review at. We're just hoping to try to make it a little quicker, a little easier for everybody to be able to submit projects for us, provide all the needed information, and get these rolling through as fast as possible for you. It's still not going to be an instant turnaround on the projects, though. I will clarify that.
Well, thank you again, and thank you all for attending. I'm not seeing anything else come in, so if you two are all right with it, I think we can wrap this call up. And if, like Joe and Colin said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to them. They can help you out.
Yep. Thanks everyone for attending.
Yep. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you all, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Have a good one.